Hello everyone, my name is Junho Lee, and today I'm going to be talking about trust. Everyone, close your eyes for me real quick, please. And give me some thumbs up. You can open your eyes now. Think to yourself, why did I just do that? Why did I trust this guy enough to follow his orders? If you're old enough for connections in your life, you know that trust is involved in basically every single aspect of your life, especially your social and occupational life. As a consequence, mastering the psychology behind trust is crucial to finding success in your lives. Today, I will be exploring the significance of trust through collaborative team performance and workplace leadership. Before I talk about trust, we first have to define it. And I'll be anchoring to an integrative model of organizational trust created by Roger C. Mayer. Let's read it together. Trust is the willingness of a party to be vulnerable to the actions of another party based on the expectation that the other will perform a particular and important action to the truster, irrespective of the ability to monitor or control that other party. You might think, Jun, that's a pretty complicated description, but it's actually quite simple. In this system, there's a truster who is the one doing the trusting, and there's a trustee who is the one being trusted. And there are three factors of perceived trustworthiness, which are ability, benevolence, and integrity. Ability is how well you think this person is going to complete a particular action. For example, how well you perceive me to play basketball, for example. Benevolence is is whether you think this person wants the best for you or not. And integrity is how you perceive someone is going to uphold their morals and values. Based on these three factors of trustworthiness and the truster's propensity to trust, which is how willing a person is to trust in general, the truster takes a risk in which the outcomes of the risk feed back into the three factors of perceived trustworthiness. To elaborate further, I'll be looking at a study by De Jong et al., which investigated the relationship between trust and team performance. Simply put, the results revealed that trust has a moderately strong relationship with performance, which was shown consistently through the studies. This trend was more notable when tasks required more interdependence and/or people had different skill sets. So what does this look like in real life? Everyone here, I think, has probably gone through school, and you've done group projects, and you always have that one person who you don't trust is going to finish their work. And you think to yourself, I really don't think they're going to finish the work. And because of this tension, no one really gets anything done. And on the day of the presentation, you realize your worries weren't for nothing. They didn't do their work. After that action, that outcome, feeds back into how you perceive that person. You're never giving them important work again. Another example, sports teams. Think about football. It's the final minutes of the game, and you need a goal to win. You see your teammate wide open, but you just don't trust them enough to pass the ball. Because of that, you hesitate and you miss the opportunity. These common experiences are not very unmeaningful. They're actually quite backed up by reasons which can be explained by the three perceived factors of trustworthiness. The kid you thought wouldn't complete their work, you perceived as having not enough integrity. And the player you hesitated to pass to, you didn't perceive as having enough ability. In addition to collaborative team performance, the significance of trust can be explored through workplace leadership. I'll be looking at a study by Ba and Lee, who looked at investigating the relationship between perceived trustworthiness and leader strength or weakness. Basically, the study showed that a style centered around respectful leadership was correlated with fostering a more inclusive and safe environment, yet it was also correlated with indecisiveness, leniency, and weakness. Our parents in the audience, you probably considered once, am I being too harsh with my kids? Am I being too lenient with my kids? If you're too lenient, you let your kids do whatever they want, and you don't really want that. If you're too harsh, your kids can possibly grow resentful or hateful towards you. It's very hard to balance these leadership styles. If you're too harsh, you might be failing in the aspect of benevolence. If you're too lenient, you might be being perceived as lacking ability or integrity. Certain leadership styles may appeal to one aspect, but not the other. So this engenders the how. This is a very hard question, but I want you to take away one thing from this talk. Trust is built on perception, specifically the three factors of perceived trustworthiness. Based on these, a person takes a risk, which then feeds back into those three factors. With this in mind, I want you to stop thinking arbitrarily, but rather in a compartmentalized system to build ethos. In order to build a stronger, more interconnected future, we must all work on ourselves to become worthy trustees for one another. Remember, each promise broken, secret spilled, or event skipped add up to your perceived trustworthiness. The better you are perceived, the better shot you have at life. Thank you.